This video is going to cover two examples. The first one is going to focus on the sum formula for sine here. We're going to find the exact value when we are told that tangent of u is equal to 3/4 in the third quadrant. Sine v is equal to 5/13 in the second quadrant. And they want us to find sine u plus v. So there's a few things that we need to know in order to start this problem here. Well, first off, if we need to find sine u plus v, we need the full formula for sine u plus v, which is right over here. In order to calculate this, we need to know sine of u, cosine of v, sine of v, and cosine of u. So if we take a look at this, for u, we need to know sine u and cosine u is what we need to find. All right, so that means we need to figure out what is sine u, right, and what is cosine of u. But then we also need to figure out what is cosine v and what is sine v. All right, so we're also going to need to figure that out here. So cosine v and sine v. So for those four things we need in order to plug into this formula. Now going back up to what we have, well, let's see. We have tangent of u and we have sine v. So out of the four things we need, the only one we know is sine v. Sine v is 5/13. They gave us that. We need to figure everything else out here. We are told it is 5/13 in quadrant 2, so quadrant 2 is right over here. This is our angle. Now we're going to be using rules of SOHCAHTOA in our triangles in order to solve this here. Sine, again, SOHCAHTOA is opposite over hypotenuse. So if sine is 5/13, that 5 is that opposite, the 13th is our hypotenuse. We're going to use Pythagorean's theorem to figure out what our b is, what this length is right over here. That means we're going to have 5 squared plus b squared is equal to 13 squared. So b squared is equal to, if we subtract that 5 squared on each side, b squared is 13 squared minus 5 squared. Right, 13 squared is 169 and 5 squared is 25. When we subtract that, we get b squared is equal to 144. And when we take the square root of each side, we get that b is equal to 12. So that means that we can figure out what cosine v is. So SOHCAHTOA, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So also keep in mind, we do need to keep in mind our signs here. 5 is positive, right? It is going up. This 12 is negative. It is going in our negative direction. So cosine is actually going to be a negative 12/13. We're going to pause right over here while we figure out our values over here for u. We are told that tangent u is equal to 3/4 in quadrant 3. So quadrant 3 right over here. So tangent, SOHCAHTOA, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite is our 3, adjacent is our 4. Both of those should be negative. Again, -4, -3. So in order to figure out what our missing side is here, again, Pythagorean's theorem, 9 plus 16 is a 25. And when we take the square root of each side, we do get that c is equal to 5 there. So information that we need to figure out about this situation. We need to figure out what is sine u. Again, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means sine is a -3/5. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So again, still in reference from this angle here, cosine is the -4 over the 5, right? Adjacent over hypotenuse here. Now that we have all of our values, right? We know cosine v, we know sine v, we know sine u, we know cosine u. That's exactly what we need to plug in and simplify here. Following the formula, sine u is a -3/5 times cosine v is a -12/13 plus sine v is 5/13 times cosine u is a -4/5. We are left with the 36 over a 65, and then different signs here makes that minus a 20 over a 65, which once we simplify that, that is a 16 over 65.